What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to the channel. And today's video, we are doing our third part on the 5 potential players the New York Mets could acquire via trade leading up to the trade deadline, if not sooner. So guys, if you did not check out the first 2 videos, please make sure you do. I'll have them in the description down below as you guys see here. But let's now talk about starting pitching, which is something that I haven't done in the previous 2 videos because the Mets' 4th and 5th spots in the rotation simply aren't getting it done between David Pearson, the youngster southpaw, and same thing with respective southpaw and Joey Fuego. They've been terribly inconsistent this year, and for a Mets team that on schedule, it's only going to get harder for them as they get now to the latter half of the season. Once they hit that halfway point, it's not going to get any easier. So now with guys like Noah Syndergaard, Thor, who won't be back until at least August, and he might be out the entirety of the season dealing with the setback from his rehab assignment, and with Carlos Carrasco, Cookie, as we love to call him, having yet to throw his first pitch as a New York Met, that isn't happening until at least July now. You'd have to wonder what kind of guys would the Mets be interested in for starting pitching depth. Well, I have 5 players in mind, and that's what we'll be breaking down in today's video. So guys, make sure you stay all the way until the end of the video for all the details and all my thoughts on these 5 starting pitchers and what they could bring to the Mets and why I really feel that they could be sensible. And if you guys end up enjoying this kind of Mets content and you want to see more great Mets content like this, do not hesitate from smashing that like and subscribe button, sharing this video with your friends, on the notification bell. It would really mean a lot, guys. Help us get us 7K subs by June 7th for our next short-term goal on the channel. Come join the WardyNYM family if you haven't already. And I'd like to give a massive shout out to today's sponsor and the sponsor of the entire month of June, that being Manscaped. Guys, check them out in the description down below. You can use my code at WardyNYM for 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com to get whatever your heart desires when it comes to male-oriented products. If you're looking for a Father's Day gift for your father out there, try to get him something that I could actually use. Get him something from Manscaped. They got a lot of great options. So guys, check it out in the description down below. Thank you so much, and now let's get right into this video. Starting things off in the big old state of Texas, that being with the Texas Rangers, and 33-year-old right-hand starting pitcher and Kyle Gibson has had a revelation of a season. Kyle Gibson, who normally has between a 4.5 to 5-year rate throughout his career, found himself in elite company early this season with the Rangers, being quite the bright spot with just an over 2 ERA, a 3-0 record currently on the season for the Rangers. And Gibson in his 33-age season, you can't even say that necessarily has to do with manipulation of spin rate. As you guys see when you look at the numbers for Baseball Savant, spin rate isn't all that high for Kyle Gibson, and he's been pretty consistent in his career. So just an overall great season for him, definitely at this point in his career. And with having now a couple years left on his contract, would bring a lot to the New York Mets, and a trade that wouldn't be too costly at this point in his career. You'll probably have to give up something decent but nothing crazy for a guy like him, whether that's say B-level prospects or a serviceable guy that could help the Rangers down the road in their rebuild. But you're looking for younger potential talent to go the other way, and Kyle Gibson would definitely be a great fit in the back half of this rotation, not just now, but it gives you versatility on how to address things heading into the offseason with guys like Noah Syndergaard and Marcus Stroman's contracts being up. Now taking things to a colder side, that being in the Detroit Tigers, we have Michael Conforto's good friend and former teammate during their time at college in Oregon. We have southpaw Matthew Boyd. Boyd in his 30-year-old season is really having a strong year for the Tigers, a team in a full rebuild that's going to be looking to be sellers at the trade deadline, and Matthew Boyd has set himself up to really be dealt sooner rather than later as one of the hottest commodities, and a southpaw no less, leading up to the 2021 MLB trade deadline. And talk about a fill-in for the New York Mets, this would be with their back half of the rotation with 2 southpaws that simply are not getting it done on a consistent basis. You bring in a guy like Matthew Boyd, and he can really help out this rotation quite a bit as a short-term solution while he is also arbitration eligible, so you can readdress your future with him once the season is over. Let's head down to Pittsburgh, shall we? And let's talk about the Bucks, that being in the Pittsburgh Pirates, as they have themselves a southpaw too that's really been a standout this year. That is Tyler Anderson. Now, Tyler Anderson isn't overwhelming with his stuff whatsoever. He's a guy that looms between a 4.5 and a 5-year rate throughout his career, but he was brought into the Bucks for the sole purpose of being a serviceable southpaw and to be dealt come the trade deadline, and that's exactly what is going to happen for himself and the Pittsburgh Pirates. And talk about a guy that would just bring depth to this roster, that's exactly what you need on a 1-year deal. No problem for the Mets, no long-term commitment, is a guy that you're not going to have to sell the farm for by any stretch of the imagination, can bring you serviceable innings, and again, just a very smart move, a lower level move for the Mets that would just give them stability in the back half of this rotation for the remainder of the season, and to have that southpaw never hurts. He's a guy that I think is very feasible and could be possibly one of the more likely options out of the 5 that you see today in this video. Okay, let's go cross country now to the beautiful state of Colorado, with the Rockies having themselves a veteran right-hander in Jon Gray. And Jon Gray has really found himself well back this season for the Colorado Rockies. And to pitch in Colorado, to have around a 4 under ERA is awfully impressive, and Gray's doing that, having a bounce back year off of what was a miserable short 2020 season. Jon Gray is going to be a hot commodity come the trade deadline for many teams, and I fully expect the Mets to be showing some interest in this kind of mix at least. Gray's a guy that has been very serviceable in years past for the Rockies and would be coming to the Mets and easily helping out this rotation greatly as a 4th or 5th spotter, however they wish, with guys like now Carlos Carrasco assumably coming back, and Thor on the outside looking in, as he needs to prove that he can come back at some point this season. No less, Jon Gray would help out this roster, and you would have stability for at least the remainder of the season. I like him as a smart, lower risk move for the Mets should they wish to take it. Last but not least, probably one of the reasons why you clicked on this video, we have ourselves, yes, another Gray, even though that, no, they aren't connected. This time, Sonny Gray, right-hand starting pitcher in the Cincinnati Reds, a pitcher that the Mets reportedly showed interest in to see what he was up to during the offseason with the Reds. And Sonny Gray with the Reds seen as on the outside looking in once again in the NL Central, you'd have to think that they could very well be somewhat of sellers come the trade deadline, and Sonny Gray should be in the heart of it all. He's been an awfully consistent pitcher in his career, and when you look at some of his advanced numbers, you can't even say that's all spin rate manipulation here, like when he was with Trevor Bauer in the short 2020 season, because Sonny Gray currently has an average spin rate the lowest he's ever had since the 2018 season. So Sonny, say what you will about him, but I think he's really would bring a lot to the Mets, could easily be a 4th starter for them, if not higher on most rotations in the league. And yes, I know that he didn't fare well during his time in the Big Apple last time, but again, circumstances were different, and I addressed that in previous videos, so please make sure to check it out, guys, if you haven't. But Sonny Gray would bring so much stability to this rotation and would really put you in a situation where you're going to figure out going into the offseason then what you want to do with one of Thor or Stroman, because that could put the Mets in a situation where they part ways with one of the two, given that Sonny Gray still has multiple years left on his contract, so there is service time for him to be with the team, not just now but going forward. But Sonny Gray off to a great start this season, only 1 win under his belt, but that's more so because of the Reds than it is him. I would love him, and he's more of a dream pick for the Mets, but definitely still very realistic given how the Reds are currently looking this season, his contract, and knowing that the Mets have shown interest in him in the early past during the offseason. And that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you did in fact enjoy. If you agree or disagree with my 5 picks, please let me know in the comments below which one stands out the most to you. And if you're wondering why I left maybe a starting pitcher out of the conversation, let me hear it in the comments below also, because again, I was really trying to go in hand with the contracts that these players currently have, how much it would probably cost the New York Mets to acquire them, and really just how realistic it is. And I think all of them have fair shots to be landing with the New York Mets should they show interest in them by time the trade deadline comes around, if not sooner. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you ended up enjoying this kind of Mets content and you want to see more great Mets content like this, make sure to smash that like and subscribe on sharing this video with your friends, on the notification bell, all those great things. Thank you all so much for the continued support. It really means the world to me, guys. Help us get at 7K subs by June 7th, and I'm out of here. Let's go Mets, baby.